The pilot. um, Last night's Doctor Who, when I heard the name of the episode was The Pilot, I got it. I was like, okay, so the pilot means a pilot episode is a test, it's a first, it's a start. This is considered to be a fresh start. I enjoyed the episode, but it's pretty forgettable. For me, anyways, it's pretty forgettable. There was cute stuff. Uh, the Doctor has all these sonic screwdrivers, and he teaches at a university. They don't really explain why, by who he's employed. If you went to a hall to hear somebody speak every day at a university, do you get credits for what? He talks about everything. I wouldn't imagine there'd be a test. It just, to me, that was kind of a clever, he's enrapturing, he interests everybody, which is fine, he would, but logic kind of disappears in that. Bill. I'm not a big fan. And I was a big fan of Clara, and, I'll make that clear right off the bat. I was a huge fan of Clara. I was upset that she left the show. Part of where I'm having a problem right now with Doctor Who, and this isn't the fault of the actors. Moffat's leaving. Capaldi's leaving. Pearl Mackie, who plays Bill, BBC's decided not to keep around. So the showrunner, the Doctor, and the companion are all gone at the end of the year. I'm having a hard time getting into it. I thought the Daleks were kind of thrown in. I was like, wait, the Daleks now are just sort of sprinkled in, like, oh, here's some Daleks. It's not a real threat, though. I couldn't even figure out, I couldn't understand that. I guess it mimicked and became the Dalek, and I don't understand. The whole episode threw me, because there didn't seem to be a lot of logic to it. This thing wanted her, but was in the shower? So it was in the bathroom for what reason? And then it, like, left, but it came back, and, like, I'm trying to figure out some logic to do with this creature thing that could bypass space and time, and I'm like, wait, how? I couldn't wrap myself around the enemy threat, and I'm like, wait, this looks like Waters of Mars. So then that was in my brain, like, wait, is this related to the Waters of Mars creatures? Is this a different form of it? Or are we just trying to fake out the audience like this is Waters of Mars, but not really, because it's different. This one has feelings. I just couldn't figure out where it was supposed to be going. I really couldn't. And I still don't quite understand what happened. Now, I've only watched it once. I'll watch it again. And it wouldn't be the first episode of Doctor Who that I've had to watch more than once. But I didn't really get it. I didn't. And for me, the problem is, I don't mind that Bill's gay. It's not a big deal. And it was a little heavy-handed in the episode. But it was played with enough subtlety that I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was cheap or done for the sake of shock or to be politically correct. But at the same time, I just didn't care. Bill's gay. Alright. I need to care. When they introduced Amy Pond, it was that the crack in the wall was a threat. When they introduced Rose, she was thrown right into an adventure with the Doctor, which at the end she went off with him. But there was a genuine threat against her, and it was cheesy, but it was a first episode. So you can take the episode Rose, and you can forgive it for being what it is. It's not particularly great in terms of its special effects, and some of the acting's pretty wooden. Mickey in particular is kind of, I don't know, he's like a comic book character in that episode. The initial episode introducing Donna, which was the wedding episode, which was really cleverly done. And it showed that the Doctor needed someone to keep him in line from time to time. Clara's first episode, of course, there was the Dalek episode. The first episode, which has the real Clara in it, is the Bells of St. John, which is brilliant. Bells of St. John is brilliant, and it was a really good build up. And you'd seen her a couple of times already, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? And then he runs off after the Snowman episode, which is my favorite Christmas episode, and it was really well done. And I thought Clara, yes, she was too powerful and too all-knowing at the end of it, but she was traveling with the Doctor a lot, and she was in the episodes quite a bit. So it makes sense that she'd start to think of herself as being like the Doctor too, and that's what got her killed. Was that she thought she was starting to think like she was the Doctor. Like, I'll just take on this burden, and then I'll get out of it. And it didn't work because she's not the Doctor. So Bill's first episode, I mean, there's the water thing, which was kind of a threat. But not really when you think of what it was. Like, it wanted to take her with it. It's like, we've got the passenger, we've located the pilot, and I'm like, okay. But if it follows them around from place to place and across time, it has to have a pilot, or it can't do that. So it should have been saying we found another passenger or something. I don't know. I'm not keen on it. And I've been a supporter of Moffat and a critic of Moffat at times. I think Series 8 was slow in spots, but I think Series 8 was good. Series 9 was fantastic from start to finish in my eyes. Minus one episode with Sand in Your Eye can't be a thing as a villain. And it just can't. It just can't. And the rumors that there's a second episode with those things, oh my god. I swear, if there's a second episode this year, I hope they canceled it. I hope the negative feedback from the fans caused them to cancel it. It's a Mark Gatiss episode, and if a Gatiss episode misses, it misses big. Apparently. This episode for me didn't hit or miss. It's sort of there. It's just, here's the new companion. Like her. She's quirky. There was one part that I think they missed out on. I noticed up until almost halfway through the episode, I hadn't seen a cell phone that I knew of, and I hadn't seen a computer, and I thought, maybe they'll do something cool, and this will be set in the 70s or the early 80s. And then they didn't. Then she mentions Netflix, and I'm like, well, there goes that. That was something cool they could have done. Bring her in as, early 80s character, and then, dump her in modern society, and have sort of that she's a double fish out of water kind of thing, and him explaining, well, here's where we are in my timeline, and here's where... But, no. No, we're just sticking with linear. It's always been weird to me that the Doctor works on a linear timeline even though he doesn't work linear in terms of the storyline. Why can't he pluck somebody from the 1500s as his new companion? He was going to do it with the episode with the girl in the fireplace. He was going to make her a companion. So he can do it. He can go back to 14th century England and find somebody really cool and say, you're coming with me, you're my new companion. Because what's present day for us is the past to him and the future. But they don't seem to get that creative. They seem to keep everything grounded, and it's too bad. I may learn to like Bill, but to me she's kind of wooden. And I'm not drawn in by a storyline. If that was the first episode of Doctor Who I'd watched, I'm not interested in watching more of it. The Rose episode made me want to watch more. Amy Pond episode was fantastic. When I was trying to get through season 6 on Netflix, and I was just dragging. Season 6 was terrible. Screaming in here in the background, if you can hear it, that's my son playing a new video game. I'm very grateful to my ex-wife for buying him new video games, because it leads to new kinds of screaming. It's fantastic. Passive-aggressive is the only way to go. She knows what she's doing. But yeah, for me, this episode, if this was the first episode I was watching, Like, during season 6, as I was going to say, I was dragging because it's a really horrible season. And it's terrible. I'm sorry, it's terrible. Outside of the astronaut, the impossible astronaut and the bit with Nixon, almost all of season 6 is just terrible. But I decided, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go ahead. And I went to the Dalek Asylum episode, the first episode of season 7. And I went, I have to watch the rest of season 6. I'm not going to give up because the show gets better. I really want to know the show's going to get better this year. When they did the coming soon, the only thing that I saw in that I went, that I have to see, is John Sim back as the Master. I have to see John Sim as the Master. That could between the Master and Missy, because now, of course, everybody's like, oh, Missy could be now she's not the Master anymore. She's, whatever else. No. It doesn't mean Missy isn't the Master. What it means is you'd have 2 Masters in the same episode. And the John Sim Master could be really bitter and angry and spiteful and hate-filled. And then the Missy Master could be more, he's okay, we don't have to kill the Doctor. You could really do something cool that way. And then they work together because they're both the Master, but they don't want to. And maybe we could bring in the paradox issue, where there's 2 Masters in the same time and space, and maybe John Sim did something crazy so that he could make that happen. There's a lot to look forward to, I think, but it depends how they play it. And odds are, I'm already predicting that Peter Capaldi's regeneration is going to be involving the Master. John Sim's going to be the one that kills Peter Capaldi somehow, or Missy, one or the other. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you're just browsing your way through, hit like and subscribe. I have all kinds of hockey on and in the background because my main channel is a hockey channel. But I wanted to do a review for this episode. And I'd be curious to know what other people thought of this episode. I was not a huge fan. Honestly, not a huge fan. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6.5. We'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. There were a few creepy moments, but in general, I was just sort of, what? Wait, what? What? How? What? Why? And it was one of those things where when Doctor Who is just pulling stuff out of its ass to explain what's going on, they do it really quickly and move on to the next scene. Or there's some kind of a smart alecky quip done by the Doctor, and the companion goes, whoa, I guess so. And that was kind of what was going on there. Where Nardole was kind of going, it's the Doctor. What can you do? It's like you're just trying to distract me from the fact that what he just said doesn't make any sense. So I don't like that very much. I can handle wibbly wobbly timey wimey once in a while, but when they're already doing it at the start of this season, oh boy. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.